Have you ever stopped to think about what actually holds our digital world together? I mean, really think about it. It's encryption. It's billions and billions of digital locks that protect absolutely everything, from your bank account to top-secret government data. But what happens when a new kind of key comes along that can break every single one of those locks at once? Well, that's the reality we're staring down the barrel of with quantum computing. So today, we're going to take a look at how one company, Uroniyx, is engineering the defense for this totally new era.
So let's just start with that massive question. I want you to imagine, just for a second, a single master key that could unlock every digital door on the planet. Your private messages, your company's most sensitive data, our critical infrastructure, all of it, wide open. You know, this isn't some far-off sci-fi movie plot anymore. This is the threat that quantum computing is bringing to the table. And we have to get ready for it, like right now. And this looming danger? It has a name, the quantum threat. It's the very real risk that these incredibly powerful new computers are going to make our current encryption standards, well, completely obsolete. All of that data that we just assume is safe and sound, it could become an open book for anyone with the right quantum machine. So the real challenge becomes, how in the world do you build a defense against a threat that could fundamentally change everything we know about security?
Well, the answer isn't just about creating a new, stronger lock. That's thinking way too small. It actually requires a completely new, totally unified defense system. And this is exactly where Uroniyx steps onto the scene with its quantum-safe infrastructure services. You should think of it less like a single product and more like an entirely new blueprint for building digital security from the ground up.
And here's the core idea, the real heart of it all. This isn't just another security app you install. No way. It's a single AI-driven platform that's built to manage the entire problem. It helps organizations transform their old vulnerable systems, connect everything up securely, protect all their data, and even automates the day-to-day operations. Now, the engine running all of this is something they call PQCX. That stands for post-quantum cryptography. And essentially, it's a whole new generation of mathematics designed to withstand attacks from both today's supercomputers and tomorrow's quantum machines.
So you might be wondering, how do they even begin to pull something this massive off? Well, they've laid it all out in a really clear four-pillar approach. It's a roadmap, really, one that guides an organization from the very first planning stages all the way to a fully automated, self-managing, and self-healing system.
All right, so here are the four pillars. First, assess and transform. Second, connect securely. Third, protect everywhere. And finally, operate autonomously. You can see it's a really logical path, right? It starts with figuring out where your biggest risks are hiding and ends with an infrastructure that can pretty much run itself. So let's break each one of these down, starting with that all-important first pillar, transformation.
Pillar 1 is all about strategy. You wouldn't build a hurricane-proof house without a detailed blueprint, right? Of course not. The exact same principle applies to quantum security. This is the measure twice, cut once phase of the entire process, and it's absolutely crucial to get it right.
And this really gets to the heart of that first step. Uroniyx uses this really cool tool they call CBOM-X, which stands for a cryptographic bill of materials. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like a super deep inventory of every single digital lock your organization uses. It scans absolutely everything, finds all the old, weak locks that are vulnerable to quantum attacks, and then it creates a step-by-step plan to replace them. This means you're not just scrambling to upgrade everything at once. No, you're building in what's called crypto agility, which is just a fancy way of saying you have the ability to swap out cryptographic standards as new threats emerge. It's all about making smart, defensible decisions for the long haul.
Okay, so once you've got your blueprint, it's time to actually build the fortifications. And that brings us to pillars 2 and 3, which are all about connecting and protecting. This is where you actually start securing your data, both when it's moving across your network and when it's just sitting in storage or at rest.
So let's take a look at how this actually works. On the left side, we have connectivity. Think of this as securing the roads your data travels on. The platform uses a zero-trust approach, which basically means its motto is never trust, always verify, to make sure every single connection is authenticated and locked down with those new quantum-safe algorithms. Then on the right, you have protection. This is about securing the destinations. This involves managing all the new encryption keys and, really importantly, separating the network into smaller, isolated zones. It's kind of like having watertight doors on a ship. That way, if one area is ever breached, the damage can't spread to the rest of the system.
And now, we get to the final pillar. And honestly, this is where it starts to feel like we're really stepping into the future. This is all about moving from simply reacting to problems after they happen to predicting them before they even start and then letting the system heal itself.
The driving force here, not surprisingly, is AI. The platform isn't just sitting there waiting for a security alarm to go off. Nope, it's constantly watching, learning your network's normal behavior, and detecting any strange patterns so it can predict problems before they cause an outage. And when it finds something, it can automatically kick off a fix. This is a total game changer, especially because it works across both traditional office IT systems and what's called operational technology, or OT. The systems that run physical things, like factory floors and power grids.
Okay, so we've seen the technology, we've gone through the strategy, but what does all of this actually mean for a business? What's the real payoff here? Let's talk about the results, because that's what really matters.
And this slide just sums it up perfectly. It's all connected, right? When you use AI to predict problems and automate the fixes, you naturally get less downtime. It just makes sense. When you have fewer people needing to manually intervene, your operational costs go down. The entire system becomes stronger, more resilient. But the biggest win here, the grand prize, is achieving true long-term security. You're not just protecting your data for today, you're actually future-proofing it for the quantum age.
So, to bring this all together, what you're really getting with the Uroniyx platform is a complete end-to-end solution. It delivers that long-term, quantum-resistant security we've been talking about. It dramatically simplifies what can be incredibly complex network operations. And it ensures that every single step you take is defensible and aligns with compliance standards, which, as you know, is absolutely non-negotiable for any major organization today.
And that really brings us to the final, critical question. The quantum threat isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So every single organization out there really needs to ask itself, is our digital foundation built for the world of the past, or is it being engineered for the future? It's definitely something to think about.